a new note on happiness, lessons from a new science by Richard Layard. I'm approaching the end of these series of notes. In fact, I've finished the book, so there will be this and then another final conclusion on wonderful work. And indeed, I was thinking the title, on the idea that what is great is that this is really a science we have now, the science of happiness. Being happy seems, and is a goal. Aristotle said that this is the drive, it's the meaning of our life, to be happy. When we're happy, it's obviously excellent. When we're not, we're trying to be. So we keep aiming at that. The problem seemed to be, if not an impossibility, there's a difficulty to measure happiness. It seemed relative. But then this was, if not completely solved, at least in good part. Now we can assess that. There are some countries, Bhutan was mentioned, where the government aims at measuring not the GDP, the gross domestic product, but GHP, the happiness level of the population. And indeed, Richard Layard talks about this noble aim of trying to increase the happiness level of the population and making this a goal of governments, which he demonstrates busy themselves too much with economics, especially in the West, where a level of material well-being has anyway been reached, and there's no need to try and fight and be unhappy and run the rat race to survive. There will be very few left poor, and care would need to be given to these people, need to be helped. In fact, actions have the biggest impact on people who are poor. For those who are rich, adding to their wealth does not make them happier, or if it does, it makes them, it adds very little to their level of happiness. It seems to not matter anymore if you make a wealthy person even richer. And in terms of Bhutan, an interesting aspect was mentioned. They introduced television, I don't know, 90s, or and allowed advertising, and that had an important negative impact on the happiness of the people there. Violence increased, tensions, and all sorts of problems they had not had before. So it's interesting to see how publicity and television can affect negatively Bhutanese and other people. Indeed, the publicity is incriminated, if you will, advertising, because it from one point, it seems to exist only to create needs for things which are not really needed. And that's not good. There will be also some indicators. The Layard is also an excellent economist, and comes up with ideas from economics which are really brilliant, and I have to admit that even if I have sort of right wing ideas, not extreme right, but I'm more conservative, and I hate the left wing ideas, especially communism, having lived in that for about 20 years under such a regime. And even if he talks about higher taxes, he has a strong point. One reason we become unhappy is we compare with others. And when some have really too much, if you may say that, it has an impact on the middle class, so to say, on most of the others, because they see this discrepancy, and that makes so many unhappy. Plus, taxes on too much activity makes sense because people tend to engage in a rat race to keep working more, to earn more, and work more, and then earn more, but that will affect their overall happiness level, well-being, because there will be an unbalanced program where they work too much, they don't have time for family. Emphasis on family is one of the ways governments can, with better childcare, can improve happiness level. And some of the factors which make the difference between the happiness of one country and another would be unemployment levels, divorce rates, quality of rule of government, religion, interesting, number of people who belong to social groups, so that's again, and levels of trust. That's also, people need to trust, and that has to do also with, he talks about reducing the level of mobility, which diminishes trust.